Hello guys, it's WhiteElo here. So game 4 of the World Chess Championship match between Carlsen, Magnus and Fabiano Caruana has also finished in a draw, which has been sufficient for a broad chess community to start lamenting about how draws are boring and how modern chess is boring, and of course whining about the times of Tao, the attacker. But before we get to the actual game and see how boring it really was, let's first check one of the board event that dominated the news together. So approximately 6 a.m. yesterday before the game, a video was leaked on the YouTube channel of the St. Louis Chess Club called Fabiano Caruana's World Championship Preparation. It showed footage of him playing basketball, riding 4 wheels and stuff, but it also disclosed a number of the seconds, and one shot from this YouTube video was the following photo. And as you can see, this is a photo of the chess base, with files that are called after opening lines that Caruana might or might not use in the match. We see that there is this Queen Gambit declined line that was featured in the second game of the match. Of course, the video has been removed, but the damage is, I think, done. Of course, there is a lot of debate whether this was actually an intentional leak by Team Caruana with the intention to confuse Magnus and make him waste time. But I honestly don't think so, because simply Caruana doesn't seem like a guy that would do this, that would try to win the match off the board, and besides, the lines shown are very, very relevant. So I don't know. I think this was supposed to be released after the match, and that somebody did an intentional or not intentional mistake. But yeah, we will see. Maybe we will find out one day what will happen. But okay, so much for the off-the-board affairs. So let's check the game. So Carlsen opened with the move c4, the English opening. So he decided he doesn't want to test Caruana's preparation in the Queen's Gambit, and obviously he was not ready for the Petrov defense yet. Caruana answered with e5. This is the reverse Sicilian move order, which is perfectly viable for black, and Caruana himself has played it many times, with both colors actually. So knight c3, knight f6, knight f3, knight c6, this is the classical 4 knights variation of this line. g3, d5, this is most common, advancing in the center, c takes d5, knight takes d5, bishop g2. So this position is pretty much standard, and here everyone has been taught that there are some tactical issues with this knight on d5, because once you move this knight, the bishop will attack it. Also, you might e5 might be threatened or something like that, and you will also want to prevent d4. So more or less everybody has played knight b6, and this is still the main theoretical move in this position. You're simply removing knight from the attack, and also controlling d4. But here Caruana unleashed bishop c5, and actually Grischuk on Chess24 live stream said that he was the one who introduced this level at the top level practice. It was believed in 2017 in a game against Elanov, and I forgot at which tournament. Grischuk basically said that he considered that after 1 c4 e5 black is fine, and that he wanted to look for a way to fight for advantage. So yeah, so much about the English opening. Yeah, sorry, that's just an inside joke for some Croatian guys that play c4 regularly. Yeah, but okay, so what is the idea behind this move? Well, obviously it wants to develop a piece without losing the tempo, and the important detail is that here knight e5 doesn't work, because black can simply take on c3. And now white has several possibilities. First of all, if you take with the knight on c6, then there is this queen f6 move, and your queen is attacked, and you're also threatened on f2, and well, you can basically resign here. Also, you can also take here with the bishop, although this is quite risky because you're weakening these white squares in front of your king. And after b takes c6, b takes c3, here there is queen d5, knight f3, and bishop h3. And this is, I think, very, very dangerous for white, because you know he can castle, the two bishops are strong, and yes, he has a pawn, and these pawns are structure, are fractured. The pawn structure is ugly, but I think that yeah, in BlackElo game, Black should be rather happy here, because after, let's say, Queen b3, Queen h5, it is his moves are more obvious. He'll castle, he'll put the pressure via center squares, and yeah, it's if the worst comes to worst, he can play with bishop g3, take on f3, and yeah, he has obviously lots of compensation for the pawn. Okay, and finally, after knight takes c3, you can simply take b takes c3, knight takes c5, d4, and here Yermolinsky in his video, which I will link below once I'm done, he suggested bishop b6, d takes c5, queen takes d1, and king takes d1, and then some move castling. But I'm not sure you should do that. You can see why do you need to risk doing this, because after castling he can play f4, and if he takes here on f2, then well, e3 will trap the bishop, so you can't really do that. But why not simply bishop d6 and d takes e5, bishop takes e5, and you're more or less fine here as Black. I don't believe White has serious winning chances here. So yeah, sorry for that somewhat long digression, but I think it's important, and in general I think very most interesting part of this game happened in the opening, so we will spend probably slightly more in this phase of the game. Okay, so after bishop c5, White played castling, and Black castled d3, and so far everything has been seen on the top levels. Some sample games that saw this move order are Anand Caruana in the Synchrofoot Cup 2017, Nepomniachtchi Aronian in Chess Speed Championship, and also what's interesting, Caruana Adams in 2017 London Classic. So Caruana has also played this position as White as well as Black, so he should be familiar with the ideas. And here Caruana unleashed rook e8, which was actually played by Adams in the aforementioned game. And it's interesting to mention that bishop b6 was played a couple of times, and in one famous game between Dubov and Karyakin in the World Cup, it went knight takes d5, queen takes d5, and now b4 was played. And yeah, this was very strong novelty by Dubov, because Black obviously can't take, because after bishop, okay, not obviously it can take, but if he takes, then he runs into some issues here, because after e4, knight e5, well, yeah, you have to be prepared. It's very sharp, and I believe Karyakin didn't take the pawn, he played e4, and after knight g5, it was a complicated game with lots of possibilities. But yeah, White has some ideas here. So Caruana repeated Adam's move rook e8, and here Carlsen played logical bishop d2, simply bolstering the knight on c3, so preparing to take with the bishop. Of course, once again, there is an argument to make. The Caruana Adams game went knight g5. It's very interesting, so I will show it. So after knight f6, queen b3, the idea is to pressure the f7 square. But there is a drawback to it, as we will see. So after after queen b3, queen e7, knight d5, knight takes, bishop takes, Adams played knight d8, and actually was the game in the end. But here there is the strong knight d4, and here you're suddenly in problems, because if you take on f7, king h8, what do you do now? e2 is under attack, your queen is under attack. If you go queen d1, then there is even bishop g4, and then rook f8, you will have many issues on f2, on e2. Yeah, this is just bad for White. So he should try to give up e2 pawn with queen c4. But now rook f8, also eyeing the f2 square, is dangerous. And after bishop h5, g6, White is already, he has to be creative, so he has to play some knight e4, and after g takes, queen takes, knight takes e2, he has to play this position, which is, yeah, slightly suspicious for him, but although not probably was, but Black has chances to achieve the advantage. I think this was all considered, or most of it was considered, in the video by Yermolinsky, so I really recommend to check him out, because he has much deeper and sexier voice than the author of this video. But okay, let's get finally to the game, if you remember what the game was. So bishop d2 was played here, just bolstering the c3 square. Caruana took the knights. In general, if black wants to simplify this position and exchange all knights in these types of structures. That's his main theme, to exchange one via c3 and other via d4. Bishop c3. Of course, b takes c3 is possible here, but then again you're not really able to advance d4, and yeah, with this your bishop is slightly short of squares, and yeah, it's debatable whether this is better, probably not. So bishop takes c3, and now knight d4. This is a thematic move, trying to exchange the knights. It has to be mentioned that Caruana was playing rather quickly here, and that he was once again very well prepared. Although, yeah, Carlsen played sensibly also. So after b4, here Caruana took another non-routine decision. He played bishop d6. Probably he didn't like putting the bishop here, and then it gets into the way of these pawns. So yeah, and okay, this seems like an amateur move. Like, doesn't just white win a pawn, but after knight takes d4, e takes d4, bishop takes d4. There is a simple bishop takes g3, and now h takes g3, queen takes d4. Yeah, this is just dead equal. There, I think, I'm not sure what's with the bishop takes b4, but I think that with this pawn is less relevant, because now b5 is open and you can create some pressure via these two queenside files. So I think you'd rather take on g3 than on b4 here. But okay, Carlsen obviously didn't take on d4. He played rook b1, preparing some queenside expansion in the future. Knight takes f3 is easing black's position. Bishop takes f3, and now a6. So c6 was probably perfectly fine, but I guess Caruana wasn't sure after b5, which is now a normal move, like self-understandable move. C takes b5, rook takes b5. Yeah, he's probably fine here because he can play bishop h3, but I guess he didn't want to enter these positions, or he couldn't evaluate them. So okay, a6 preventing b5, a4 renewing the threat, and now c6. And here this is the critical moment in the game. Kasparov tweeted that once you have said A, you should go B and play b5. Most of the commentators respected that, but Carlsen decided against it. He played rook e1. So what's the problem with b5? Well, Carlsen himself admitted that after a takes b5, a takes b5, and bishop d7, he simply thought he doesn't have much in this position. After b takes c6, bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, and b takes c6. He said that he considered this to be a half of a draw offer if he played this. And yeah, you also have to reckon here with c takes b5, a takes b5, a5, which is okay after queen a4. Swidor claimed it is better for white, but it's not so simple, and because black will always prepare some e4, and okay, there's a lot of tricks, and yeah, it's not like it brings automatic advantage to white. So yeah, Carlsen probably, yeah, although in all sincerity, the whole point of white's play is to go for this breakthrough, because else, as we will see in the game, he can't count on advantage. So rook e1 was played, bishop d7, now b5 is out of the question. So e3, hinting at d4, queen f6, attacking the bishop, and d4 doesn't bring you much, because now if you play d4, he simply goes e4 or something. So yeah, it's debatable. Okay, so e4, bishop f5, trying to exchange more pieces, queen f3, bishop takes e4, queen takes f6, g takes f6, d takes e4, and here, as Yermolinsky points out, if white had a knight, he could plant on f5, it would be very nice, but like this, yeah, his bishop can't never get to that square, obviously, and he can't count on some advantage. And Caruana here played one last accurate move, b5, not allowing b5 by white, and also this pawn is now fixed on this dark square, and it will be a target. So rook ed1, bishop f8, and now the game is completely equal, and draw is the logical outcome. So after a takes b5, a takes b5, king g2, rook ed8, rook dc1, king g7, bishop e1, rook d8, rook c2, rook a4, king f3, h5, king e2, king g6, h3, f5, e takes f5, king takes f5, f3, bishop e7, e4 check, king e6, bishop d2, bishop d6, and rook b c1. A draw was agreed, because yeah, after king d7 neither side can make progress. I'm not that sure if black needs to take here, because I probably even this rook endgame is just completely drawn. So yeah, the players decided to call it a day. And it is interesting to mention that afterwards in the press conference, when they asked Caruana what he thinks about the leak, he said that he doesn't want to comment, and Carlsen obviously said that he hasn't yet watched the video, but that he's aware that it exists. And yeah, judging on this game, Caruana should be satisfied. He displayed better preparation once again, surprised his opponent a bit, and equalized with no particular problem. But okay, then again, Carlsen doesn't have a reason not to be satisfied, because okay, he tried something, it didn't work, but I guess his match situation is not that critical, and it's not like he did any illogical or just unobjective decision like in his match against Karkin. But when we take this video into consideration, well, maybe Carlsen has more reason to be satisfied. Not because I think that the lines showed there are significant, or that he can conclude much from this photo I have shown, but simply because it may cause some frustration or irritation, or even lack of trust in Caruana's camp. And as you might remember, in 1986, Kasparov's second Vladimirov was accused of passing opening notes to Karpov's team, and in his books My Great Predecessors, Kasparov writes a lot about how his and Karpov's analysis were quite similar, and there even same analytical mistakes were present in both teams, and he suspected somebody from his team is leaking information, and he actually lost 3 games in a row from 16th to 18th, and the match was drawn. And then his second Vladimirov left his camp. Of course he didn't admit he was copying notes and sending them to Karpov's team. He quoted some reason I don't actually remember, but there was strong suspicion he was the one who leaked the information. And actually afterwards Kasparov played better and deservedly won the match. So yeah, these kinds of things off the board events might have a profound effect on the things that happen on board. And okay, this is just pretty speculative, but maybe it will have an effect on Caruana's play in the future. But then again, maybe not. Only time will tell. Okay guys, so that's all for this video. As usual, you can watch... Oh, sorry, that's wrong side. You can watch 2 videos of the previous games. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing this. Okay, so the links to 2 games are given on the left side of the screen. Also, I will include the links to my analysis below, and also my analysis of the previous games, and also to Uncle Yermo's analysis and Peter Swider's recap of the game. If you have time, I can definitely recommend to check them out. I'm especially fond of Yermo, which I have probably mentioned several times here, because I know he has this specific approach. I think he doesn't analyze a lot with engine, but he simply understands chess very well, and it's pretty instructive to watch his analysis. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope you have a nice day, and see you after game 5, and probably during game 5. Goodbye.